So last time we talked about the end of the universe. Now we're going to go to the beginning of the universe. But before we do, although we take it for granted, the night sky being dark was actually kind of a mystery for a while. So if we go back to the ideas of Isaac Newton, okay, so this is the 3 laws of motion and the law of gravity and all that. If you just look at those laws, then for the universe to exist, it must be infinitely large, infinitely old, and unchanging in time. Okay, the reason being because of gravity. Gravity always pulls stuff in. Okay, so only if you have an infinitely large universe that's infinitely old will you have a balance between gravity in all directions, keeping things stable. Okay, but if you have anything begin to collapse, then you have a region of higher density and everything's going to collapse. So according to these ideas of Newton, the universe has to be infinitely large, infinitely old, and therefore unchanging in time. However, if the universe is infinitely old and infinitely large, then no matter where we look in the sky, we will eventually see a star, something that is giving off light. And if that's true over the entire sky, then everywhere should always be glowing. The sky should never be dark. And yet, we know at night it is. This problem is known as Olbers Paradox. So an analogy to this is like trying to look through this forest. As you're trying to look through this forest, you can't because there are so many trees in the way. No matter what line of sight you use, eventually there's a tree in the way. Now imagine instead of tree, you have stars, and that's what our night sky would look like. It should be as bright as the surface of the sun all the time. We've already touched on the solutions to Olbers Paradox. They come from general relativity and the ideas of Einstein. From general relativity, we understand that the universe is ever changing, and because the universe is constantly changing, that also means that it had a beginning. So although we do believe that the universe is infinitely large, which we talked about previously, we do not believe that it is infinitely old. And because there was a beginning point, then there's going to be some region of space beyond which we're not going to be able to see. If you remember last time, we talked about the observable universe. Anything that is beyond our observable universe, we're not going to be able to see. And if you don't receive any light from those regions, it's going to be black. That is part of the solution, that the universe is not infinitely old. Another piece comes from the idea that the universe is changing, specifically that the universe is expanding. As the universe expands, light stretches out, becoming redder and redder, more and more red-shifted. Now, if it's already red and it gets stretched out more, it goes into the infrared, which we actually can't see. What this means is that there are actually regions within our universe where we are receiving light, but that light has been so red-shifted, our eyes do not see it anymore. So what this means, the next time you go out at night and you notice that the sky is mostly dark, that is actually evidence that the universe had a beginning.